Hello everybody, it is The Worm, and welcome back to Danganronpa V3, trial number 3. Yes, we've reached intermission. And boy, has the first half of this one been quite something. It's, certainly, it is similar to the previous trials in that I find myself getting lost pretty often here, but things are moving relatively smoothly, I think. I was able to get a couple back routes, and the only time I got truly defeated thus far was during the moment where we had to choose who was the culprit that was within the cage with Tenko. And of course, that shook me a bit because the conclusion was that Tenko committed suicide, which is, I was gonna say a mood killer, but that seems a bit, it's a bit more intense than a mood killer. But then we rallied a bit, and because of, what would it be, the power of friendship or something or other, we have decided to believe in Tenko and each other. And through our arguments and investigation, we seem to have found that maybe Tenko didn't commit suicide. And maybe the culprit did, in fact, use a novel seesaw method in order to murder. I do want to say, regarding that particular method, definitely didn't see that one coming, and I want to, let's see, do I have a good picture of it here? No. I don't really have a good picture of it. So here we see the crosspiece under the floor. If you'll recall, you know, we could see from where this picture indicates. In fact, I think my mouse can be seen on screen. There was this part, and then, you know, the whole floorboard went across, and then we saw Tenko's blood at the other end dripping down. Now, my impression of that scene was I thought that entire floorboard was under where the cage was. So now, of course, I'm not saying that if I had realized that part of the floorboard that was that had been moved, that had come loose. If I had realized that part of that floorboard was outside of the cage, I'm not saying that I would have been able to guess this seesaw method, but certainly if I had realized that it was, maybe I would have at least thought something else of the whole situation, because I was so caught up on the cage and thinking that it all had to be taking place directly underneath. But no, it's this, weird seesaw method. And yeah, apparently the... Okay, so let's think this through. We put the cage down. Then the sheet went over top, right? Do we have... Okay, hang on. Because clearly, when we put the cage on top of Tenko, that was Shuichi and Kokichi. And neither of them saw the scythe there. I mean, part of me thinks maybe Kyo did it, because he put the sheet on top next. I wish I could see that illustration where they showed how it was all configured, where we saw the cage, then the scythe, then the sheet, then the dog. Yeah, and again, I thought I was a bit confused because, you know, I get the dog statue is very heavy, but even so, if you put that on top of a scythe, like, how is the scythe... Well, I guess if the scythe is going through the cage, then the blade part, that is, then I suppose that's what's keeping it in place. I just thought it was strange that none of the four noticed that there was a... Or at the least... Well, okay, they were carrying the dog statue, so maybe they weren't looking down at the sheet, but none of them noticed a protrusion of any kind. So I think Kyo's a bit suspicious here, because he put the sheet, again, I know I'm repeating myself, but just trying to think it through. Shuichi Kokichi put the cage, neither of us saw it. And we know that the scythe was under the sheet, which is what Kyo placed. Now, we're actually in a pretty critical moment, because we have an accusation on the table against Himiko. And this is because, of course, she suggested the middle room, which is a bit odd. I don't know... She just said something like, the middle room is good for these sorts of things. But of course that's put her in a very bad position, and Kyo is the one accusing her. Yeah, I don't know. It is unfortunately a bit late at night tonight, so if I'm a bit more rambly than usual, that's probably why. It's just it's the following day from when I recorded the previous episode, and I really wanted to get this done because I wouldn't be able to record again for like the next 3 or 4 days, and I really wanted to record while it was still fresh, you know what I mean? So hopefully, I don't know, need to splash water over my face or slap myself. Wake up, stay awake. Yeah, okay, let's get back into this. I mean, I am glad is not the correct way to describe it. I am relieved to come to the conclusion that Tengo didn't kill herself. That's very good. But yeah, I guess at this point I'm a bit more suspicious of Kyo than I am Himiko, but let's see what happens. And again, still have to deal with Angie. So, okay, stop rambling. Let's do this. Victim quiz. The only victims are the people who are still watching this drawn out boring crap. Oh, okay. Yeah, no kidding.
It's okay.
Absolutely right. Hey,
Uh-huh.
all right.
Okay.
This is my impression of a spooky, scary ghost.
I'm fine with real ghosts, but impressions of them are too scary!
Huh.
Logic does not compute.
Did you hear something?
No, I didn't hear anything.
You know what else is scary? Sweet buns. Yep, tasty, tasty sweet buns. So round, so sweet, so delicious.
That doesn't sound scary at all.
I'm scared too. Scared of losing my friends.
Did you hear something?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Right now, you're on the threshold.
Okay. We're back in it. I'm not sure at what angle we go at this from. Do we try to get Himiko to explain her reasoning for picking that room, or what?
Answer us, Himiko. You chose the middle room to lure us into your trap, did you not?
Of course, that's what Kyo's doing already.
Then you used that trap to kill Tenko, yes?
I mean, we didn't get to investigate the other two rooms. Who's to say that, what if all three rooms were prepared in that manner? I mean, I don't know.
Well, Donkey Lips, did you kill that twat?
Wait, must be some mistake. No way Himiko is culprit.
Then she needs to defend herself. Otherwise, this debate is deadlocked.
I don't care if you gotta use magic to do it, but say something already.
Are you even listening? No, I'm not listening. I don't care anymore. I'm too tired. Angie died. Tenko died. Why did I have to survive? And now, you're all saying I killed them?
Well, not all of us, but I do understand that you're feeling, well, feeling out of options at this point.
I just don't care anymore.
Himiko.
Do whatever. If you want to vote for me, then just go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, this isn't just a go-ahead kind of moment. All of our lives rest upon this.
The game gets really blah if the suspect isn't into it.
That's not the problem.
Damn it. Don't tell me you've given up.
Himiko, don't give up.
Don't you understand? My life is riding on the outcome of this trial! Just shut up. I told you, I'm too tired. It's all just big pain. I can't put up with it anymore.
What are you talking about? If you give up here...
You needn't worry. Himiko was the one who chose that room. Therefore, she is unmistakably the culprit.
Impossible! Himiko would never kill Tenko! Himiko not that kind of person. Gonta can tell by Himiko's face.
I'm trying to... One thing that I know that's gonna pop up at some point, this whole magical circle business. Yes, I understand it's been trampled on and messed up. But before that, I'm trying to recall the state it was in when the lights had just been turned on again. Lights, or rather, when Kokichi lit the candles again. What was the state of it at that point? I'm trying to recall.
Himiko's a little slow, so I don't think she's capable of handling a complicated crime.
I also think Himiko's not the culprit. Somehow.
Either way, we gotta look for more possibilities.
That does seem like rather a pointless quest.
No, is not. We gotta be strong. Gotta keep thinking. Then we might find new truth. So no give up, Himiko!
Oh. I hear the noises.
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms, why did you select the middle one? Because you laid your trap there.
Was trap only in that room?
That's my question.
Other rooms may be trapped too.
Yeah, even if Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Your opinions are empty words.
If the culprit's plan were to make Himiko a suspect, they might have persuaded to... Ah, man, okay, this is that... man. These are those little minor things that I just don't remember.
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's
What are my options
decision.
here?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
I didn't mean to select that.
Oh no!
That's not what I wanted.
The seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms, why did
Oh,
you
is that
select the
taking
middle
my life every time I do that?
Because you laid your trap there.
Was trap only in that
Wow,
room?
that drains your life. Interesting.
Other rooms may be trapped too.
Yeah, even if Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Your opinions are empty words.
I didn't even realize when you're holding the lie button, it takes your life.
Performing the
Okay, what are we doing here?
seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms, why did you select the middle?
So we only have 2 options, huh?
Was trap only in
That
room? Other rooms may be trapped too.
No, that's a thing.
Yeah, even if Himiko picked the room, someone else could have set that trap.
Okay, I think I have an option here.
Performing the seance in that room
Was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms, why did you select the middle one? Because you laid your trap there.
Was trap only in that room? Other rooms may be trapped too.
No.
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision.
Nope.
Damn
Well, we're,
Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
No, I already did that, didn't I? Dang it.
Damn it! Performing the seance in that room was Himiko's decision, was it not?
What if someone steered her into picking that room?
Of the 3 empty rooms,
The only one I can see that's relevant here would be the Caged Child story or something. Oh, wait. No. I know this. I know this. Why am I being so silly?
because you laid your trap there.
See, this is why you pause and
trap
read the
only
truth
in that
bullets.
room? Other rooms may be trapped too.
Okay,
I agree.
we got it.
It's just like Gonta said. Each room was the same. They were all trapped.
Uh-huh. Okay, so I didn't get the back route that time. I'm not sure what it would have been, but yes. See, I was getting confused because I was thinking Bloody Kokichi, what's the relevance that happened after? Because we were talking about what can. I thought the mystery was who convinced. Why am I blanking? Himiko. Why? Who convinced Himiko? And I totally. Yes. Okay, I get it. Sorry.
What? Is that true?
Kokichi will tell you.
I was way too careless. Wait, what are you talking about?
I should have realized this much sooner. This is something that should have been realized in the moment. That this scene, this flashback we're seeing right here, this is something I should have realized. That all 3 rooms are trapped.
While you were in the room next to the crime scene, you found a loose floorboard, right?
Now I just feel silly.
Well, I didn't find it so much as I stepped through it and tripped.
What? Hold on! There was also a loose floorboard in the next room?
So the culprit prepared a trap in all 3 empty rooms, not just the middle one.
If the culprit set traps in all the rooms, then they wouldn't need to select a room themselves.
So the real trap was for someone else to pick a room and take the blame.
I see. We were caught in the culprit's trap all along.
Especially you!
Mm-hmm.
But now there's no reason to suspect Himiko, right?
Himiko, do you remember what Tenko told you? Live life facing forward. She said that to you, right? If you give up on living, you'd be betraying her memory. We're all trying to keep our promises to the dead. This trial, it's not just for our lives. It's for everyone who's died as well. That's why we can't give up. This is our responsibility. We live on.
You're right. Yeah, that's right. If I gave up here, I wouldn't be able to face Angie or Tenko.
That's right. So let's do our best.
Alright, I'm not gonna say it's a pain anymore.
Oh my goodness. Character development.
I won't give up. I'll fight alongside everyone and survive.
Do not say everyone. After all, the Blackened is still among us.
Jeez, there you go. Killing the mood like usual. But damn, well said, Shuichi. That's what I'd expect from my soul, bro.
Your soul, bro?
Well, anyway, do you think the Blackened this time has some sort of superpower?
What are you talking about?
Well, as a self-proclaimed expert of stepping through floorboards, isn't it weird that no one stepped through that floorboard before the culprit used it?
Well, okay, my most suspicious person for me right now is Kyo. And if I don't know about the other rooms, but certainly while we were doing the seance thing, he made it clear, you know, we can't go through the this thing. Actually, let me get a better picture of it. This thing. He said you can't step anywhere around here. So, hang on, this might actually be good. If you could see my mouse here. So, I think from where she was laying this way. So her head was here, her body here, and then the floor, so, and we know Yeah, so the floorboard would be this over here. So this would be part of the section where, due to the magic circle, Kyo was saying, no one can step here. You are not allowed. You can only go through this path. So, I mean... Now, if we're talking about why no one stepped through it in the other rooms, just... Well, I don't know.
Ah, that is a good point.
It must have been barrier magic. Well, that's one possibility, but I think it might have been something else.
Well, we get to immediately see if I'm right. Well, it's either this or this. Oh shucks, which is it gonna be? Well, if I pick the wrong one, I lose. This is more specific. Let's try it.
This is it!
There we go.
It's because of the magic circle at the scene of the crime. Before we began the seance, we were warned not to step on the circle.
So Kyo's gonna be... It's more and more likely that Kyo's gonna be the guy here. But the big issue, and, you know... the big twist that this whole trial is gonna be dropping on us is, of course... Oh, you've been spending all this time trying to figure out who killed Tenko, and you've not thought about Angie at all. So what are you gonna do? So I'm just waiting for that moment, because it's gonna happen.
The floorboard in question was within the circle. That's why no one stepped on it.
And I'm worried now, because earlier, last episode, it was said that... See, okay, in this picture here, this illustration, if I can bring my mouse back up again, this doesn't look like it would be outside the cage. Like, you could see these white lines here of the magic circle. How far outside the cage was that? I don't know. Okay, I think that's just a nitpick. Never mind. Never mind. What was I trying to say?
So the magic circle's purpose was to keep us away from the whole trick.
What I'm trying to say is, in the previous trial, the idea that the culprit could be steering the conversation in ways we don't want it to go, and early on in this trial, Kaito is the one who really was gung-ho on trying to figure out this whole Tenko business, the murder of Tenko. So, what am I supposed to take from that? That it was Kaito that murdered Angie? And Kyo's just gonna then get away with it, because he's not our black end this time around. I don't know, this is going in a direction I'm very worried.
That was part of the culprit's plans too?
Alright, I mean, here we go.
It has to be you!
Hey, it's the first time I
Kyo.
managed to get it right.
Was it
on the
you?
first... I feel so... I mean... Because again, this is going to be a bait and switch. It's the first time in one of these guess who did it moments I got it on the first try. But this is obvious, and it's meant to be obvious because they're going to pull a fast one on us. So I want to feel good about this, but I can't.
Whatever are you talking about?
I'm talking about Tenko's murder.
Kyo? Why do you suspect me?
Because you were the one who drew the magic circle. The circle kept us from discovering the seesaw trick, but that's not all it was for. In order to make the murder succeed, variables like Tenko's position and the placement of the cage needed to be defined. And those variables were defined by using the magic circle. In short, the circle itself was the most important tool in this murder.
I'm trying to think of... So I've been trying to think of a motive here for why Kyo would do this, and I had a thought. What if, because the idea that the reason I was hesitant to suspect Kyo, because it seems like you're sabotaging your own seance, and he really cares about the seance, right? What if, do you remember Kokichi was trying to confirm some things? What if it turns out that as part of the ritual, the medium needs to die or something like that? Because from that perspective, then, he would be... Yeah, but if... The problem is then how does he get away with that? I don't think that makes sense. No, I don't know. I don't know why Kyo did this.
Knowing that, the person who drew the magic circle has to be the culprit.
Well, Kyo,
Answer already! Did you do it?
What is so funny?
I mean, unless he didn't do it, in which case, we're gonna be... we're gonna be up a very certain creek without a paddle. Because then we're not gonna know who killed Tenko or Angie. So, look, we need to get at least one thing right. We need this to be Kyo.
I was just thinking. So this is how each Blackened must have felt. What an intriguing experience this is.
What? An intriguing experience?
Yeah, not really surprised he's feeling it like that.
But if I am the culprit as you claim, then I stomped on the floorboard, yes? So, do tell. How could I have stomped on the floorboard during that darkened seance?
I see. That is problem.
Unless that is made clear, you cannot be certain I am the culprit.
how can you be so calm when you're backed into a corner like...
Sorry, Kaito. I'm a bit confused. What do you mean, how? With your feet? I'm confused.
I will explain that in due time. Please answer my question first.
Oh, I see.
Wait a minute. Maybe...
Did you figure it out?
Oh, I don't know. Hearing? No.
Oh no!
I was thinking because they were all singing. Maybe they were able to judge. Because everyone was singing in the four corners, so I was thinking maybe they could use that to judge. No. Was there a smell?
That's it!
Touch, okay.
The culprit used touch. They didn't see, they felt.
That way they could get around in the dark, like how I got to the candle.
Wasn't Seesaw in middle of room? Gonta doesn't think it was near wall.
So they probably used something besides the wall to move then, right?
Were there any other markers within reach?
Of course, the answer to that is there was nothing of the sort.
Okay, we're doing this again. Well, shucks. Magic circle? Maybe? Man, I recall this from previous Danganronpa games too, but this puzzle is kind of a bit... it can be a bit excruciating when it's a long word and you're just waiting to get the letters. Okay, one more. I didn't see any at all there, my goodness. Oh, I can speed this up too. There we go, okay.
That's it! The magic circle! They used the magic circle. Remember? The magic circle was drawn with salt. The culprit used the salt's texture to feel their way through the dark.
I see. So Kyo traced the magic circle with his hands to get to the loose floorboard.
Oh, I see. You drew the magic circle with salt to use it as a guide.
An interesting thought. It is unfortunate that it is so wrong. Recall the document. What did the magic circle look like?
Based on the document, the magic circle wouldn't reach the corners of the room.
So what?
When the room was darkened, each of us was in a corner of the room, yes? The magic circle didn't reach us, so I could not have followed it, yes?
But you're talking about the magic circle in the document. That doesn't mean the circle you drew was the same.
No, I most definitely drew it exactly the same. I have it perfectly memorized.
Kokichi, this is what you were trying to figure out, right?
So which is it? Is there any way to check? Not anymore. The magic circle is a complete mess from being trampled on.
Everyone, may I have your attention, please?
Yes, Kibo?
What a pain. We don't have any way to check it now.
Excuse me, everyone. May I have your attention, please?
Well, I guess there's no point in discussing the magic circle anymore.
Hey, may I have your attention?
Oh, I said cut that out! It's too bright!
I apologize. I just wanted everyone to listen to me.
About what?
I had Miu add another function to my body, in addition to the flashlight.
And we're just hearing about this now, huh?
What the? No way! Did you really? Stop! You can't! I didn't install it for that purpose!
Please, let me use it. With it, I might be able to save everyone.
Alright, so what is this function?
It's an image recording function.
Image?
Specifically, this function allows me to dispense a printout of my own memory.
Sorry, Gota.
I'll give it a try. Ready?
Oh my.
From your mouth?
I also used magic like that before.
This printout is my memory of being kicked out of the seance. Please confirm that the floor of the empty room is clearly visible. Go on, take the picture and see for yourself.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Is there any way to quickly compare the two? Are there lines? It looks like... Okay, so you see in this picture here, there are the four circles in the corners of the this square, which is meant to be the room. There are four circles. Presumably those are the four people. And then we have the magic circle here. But here, it looks like there are lines. There are lines to the corners.
Well, Shuichi, do you notice anything?
Yes.
There! This helped a lot, Kibo. Without you, I never would have seen through Kiyo's lie.
My lie?
You just said that you drew the magic circle exactly as it appears in the document. But that's a lie, isn't it? The magic circle at the scene had lines that stretched to the room's corners, which means that you would be able to find the floorboard from anywhere in the room.
So it was different from the document after all.
All because Himiko noticed. And because of Kibo, too.
Hey, where's my thanks? I'm the one who installed that function into Kibo.
Hey, yeah, what was it you were saying about its purpose?
Oh, to be honest, the purpose of that image recording function is to monitor my health.
Really?
Specifically, I make Kibo use that function every day to analyze my turds.
Oh.
Your what? Why? Shit is a great indicator of intestinal health and gut bacteria quality. Plus, taking a satisfying shit does wonders for a woman's natural beauty, so... See? You're all grossed out! This is why I didn't want to tell you about my plan!
Quit talking about your poop. No one cares. Kyo, you killed Tenko, didn't you? Just give up and admit it already.
And he's gonna say, yep, I did it. Also doesn't matter, because I didn't kill Angie.
So, Kyo, if you have any objections, you can...
Your deductions are fiction. Well, since you've given me the option, I will most certainly object. To be honest, it's unimportant, but it may be an amusing diversion. Now I shall bear witness to your abilities, Shuichi. Do entertain me.
Okay.
If you are going to claim I am the culprit, then what of the murder weapon? It was set up in the cage. The only people capable of that are Kokichi and Shuichi, who carried the cage. So suspicion should fall on them.
No, white sheet.
True, we could have placed the sickle there, but we could not have removed it later. Because we weren't the ones who lifted the cage. That was Himiko.
The only person who could have collected the sickle is Himiko. But the only people who could have placed the sickle are Kokichi and Shuichi. But in regards to that dilemma, I did not carry the cage, nor did I lift it. I had no opportunity to touch the sickle.
I'll cut through your words!
Gotta do better than that, Kyo.
The only person who could have set up the sickle and retrieved it afterward is Kyo. That was done by covering the cage with a white cloth. You could have secretly placed the sickle when you draped the cloth.
I feel like, okay, so none of us saw him do that.
And retrieved it afterward when you removed the cloth.
And none of us saw.
While everyone was distracted, you discreetly dropped the sickle under the floor.
Wonderful! That's exactly correct.
Yep.
It's correct? Then why don't you give up already?
The trick I put so much work into is just wasted effort now. Alas.
So, it was you? You killed Tenko?
Let me guess. You'll never forgive me. Himiko, you must hate me so very much. Maybe you'd feel better if I was executed by Monokuma.
Too bad that's not gonna happen.
But unfortunately for you, that won't happen.
Yes.
Because if you vote for me, every spotless, including myself, will die.
What you talking about, Kyo?
You still don't understand? I killed Tenko, that is the truth. But it is meaningless in this class trial.
Meaningless?
You mean Monokuma's extra rule, right?
You see, I killed Tenko, but not Angie. For us, Tenko's death is nothing but a trivial issue. Because the blackened in this trial is the culprit who killed Angie.
Trivial issue? No, that's gotta be a lie. You probably killed Angie too.
That is simply not possible. Recall that I was unable to enter Angie's lab.
Oh, only student council members and Kokichi could enter research lab.
Yeah, that would prevent Kaito from being the one then, maybe.
How could I have possibly killed Angie when I couldn't even enter her lab?
We can figure that out. No one else could have done it besides you. If you're the one who killed Tenko, you gotta be the one who killed Angie.
I understand how you feel, Himiko, but maybe we can discuss this rationally and calmly. There is a non-zero possibility that Kyo is telling the truth.
So you understand how she feels. I see. Wait, robots can understand human feelings?
Of course I understand. I worked really hard to understand.
Hey, why are you getting all worked up, Kibo? Chill, dude.
That's enough! It's voting time! I'm gonna vote for him!
Himiko, don't say that. Monokuma might agree.
Voting for me will only help the one who murdered Angie.
Isn't Kyo culprit?
Of course I'm not. This case was an error on my part. Monokuma added that rule after both bodies were found, yes? How was I to know that the trial would only be for Angie's killer? Had I known, I certainly wouldn't have killed Tenko.
Okay, so that's his rationale.
You're lying! You killed Tenko and Angie!
Now hold on. Jumping to conclusions here is dangerous.
We should talk it out more. This case might have juicy plot twists waiting to happen.
Nuts to that! Any way you look at this case, Kyo is obviously the culprit.
Yeah, there's sort of no other way to look at it.
No, it's too dangerous to vote before we arrive at a logical decision.
The culprit's one of you! Wowee! This argument is getting intense! At times like this.
Is it gonna be debate scrum?
The Ultimate Academy is proud to present its very own more phenomenal trial grounds.
Yippee! I've been waiting for this!
Why were you waiting for it?
Split opinion. So far, this sequence, it's always kind of fun. There's a lot of spectacle to it, so it's always pretty cool, but so far, it's not really been difficult. Of course, I say that now I've just jinxed myself, and this is going to be the most difficult thing in the whole trial. Just wait and see. Okay, here we go. Kaito's over there, huh?
Kyo killed Tenko and Angie! He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
Kyo! Anyone could have entered my lab.
The katana was found
Oops.
in Kyo's lab.
Kyo! Anyone could have entered my lab.
So Kyo did kill Tenko, but he not blackened?
Kokichi! Perhaps there's a second blackened we need to find.
He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along.
Kyo! Not possible. That rule was added after both murders.
We solved the mystery of Tenko's death. Can't we just vote?
I got this! Not yet. There's still another mystery to solve.
Kyo killed Tenko and Angie! Kyo killed Tenko and Angie!
I got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
Oops. Oh, shucks.
We can't let it end here!
I'm thinking I'm not getting an A this time. That's my second restart. Can we split this? Or skip this? Yeah, here we go.
Kyo killed Tenko and Angie!
Kyo!
Nope, that's the wrong one. That's... I didn't mean to do
Way
that.
into Angie's research lab and killed her!
Kyo!
Anyone could have entered my lab.
Katana was found in Kyo's lab.
Kyo!
Anyone could have entered my lab. So Kyo did
Killed Tenko, but he not blackened?
Kokichi!
Perhaps there's a second blackened we need to find.
He planned to use the new rule to protect
Kibo!
No,
Considering that Kyo killed Angie.
Why am I screwing this up?
Tenko's death. Can't we just vote?
Kyo killed Tenko and Angie! He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
I got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
The katana was found in Kyo's lab.
So Kyo did kill Tenko, but he not blackened?
He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along.
Kyo!
Not possible.
That rule was added after both murders.
We solved the mystery of Tenko's death. Can't we just vote?
I got this!
Not yet. There's still another mystery to solve.
Kyo killed Tenko and Angie!
Kibo! We don't know for certain that Kyo killed Angie.
There we go, that's that one.
He forced his way into Angie's research lab and killed her!
I got this! But he couldn't get into Angie's research lab.
The katana was found in Kyo.
Anyone could have entered my lab.
So Kyo did kill Tenko, but he...
Kokichi! Perhaps there's a second blackened we need to find.
He was planning to use the new rule to
Kyo!
Not possible. That rule was added after both murders.
We solved the mystery of Tenko.
I got this! Not yet. There's still another mystery to solve.
There we go. Okay. Weird that we're on the same side as Kyo and opposed to Kaito and Maki and Himiko.
It would be a mistake to vote before we've completely solved Angie's murder. And there's still the mystery of Tenko's murder.
Mystery? What kind of mystery?
Well, Kyo's confession derailed our conversation a bit. But we still have to go over one of the clues found at Tenko's crime scene. I believe it might even have something to do with Angie's murder.
Yeah, what about the dried blood and all that stuff there? Oh. Well, since I asked, let's see if this is it. If I have good intuition.
This is it!
There we go. I do have good intuition.
The bloodstain found under the floor. Maki and I found it during the investigation.
Actually, let me change that a bit. Sometimes I have good intuition. Let's not fool ourselves.
It was beneath the floorboard that the culprit stomped on.
Is that Tenko's blood?
That bloodstain was too far from Tenko's corpse to have been hers.
Yeah, it's interesting. Now that we know Kyo's the guy and he's confessed it, he has every... his motivation now should be to cooperate with us and just tell us everything he knows.
Also, the bloodstain was already dry when we found it. But the blood from Tenko's body hadn't even begun to dry yet.
Well, that's weird. Why was that blood stain the only dry one?
Well, there. That one.
I was wrong!
Wait, what? Well, this one.
That's it!
That's what I thought. Okay, but I think...
The blood stain wasn't from Tenko's murder.
Okay, I think I was kind of confused. I think one of those... the first choice I chose there might have been implying it was still Tenko's blood, but... No, I'm not sure. I would have had to look at those again. Those both seem to be saying the same things to me, but okay.
It was there before we started the seance.
Before the seance?
That's it!
Why would Angie's blood be there?
That bloodstain wasn't Tenko's. It was Angie's.
Why was blood from Angie at the scene of Tenko's murder?
Yeah, if Angie had been out of her room, then that means anyone could have done it again.
Yeah, wasn't Angie killed in her research lab?
Just because we found her body there doesn't mean she was killed there.
I guess not.
Ah, I guess that's possible.
If Angie wasn't killed in her lab, then that opens up a lot more possibilities. We assumed that only council members could have killed Angie since her body was in her lab. But if she died somewhere else, then we
Yep.
can't suspect just the council members anymore.
Case has been thrown back into confusion.
So the culprit didn't enter her lab, but waited for her to come out of it?
I'm not sure if the culprit waited for her, but they probably killed her when she came out. Well, I thought that was more likely from the start. So I went to places Angie might have gone and checked all 3 empty rooms.
Places she might have gone? Why did you check the empty rooms then?
The empty rooms were the only places I could think of that Angie would go.
Did Angie have business in rooms?
It seems Kokichi's up to his usual misleading nonsense again.
I do lie a lot, and I could be lying right now too. But I'm pretty sure someone's panicking right now because of my lie.
Huh. Interesting.
The art research lab is not where Angie was killed. She was killed in the empty room instead!
She left her lab on her own?
But why would she go into an empty room? There shouldn't have been anything in there.
Except for candles.
That's it! She wanted a candle! To keep herself away.
Okay, let's look at... To burn the ashes? Or excuse me, burn the ashes. Okay, I see.
Fake at night, she would drip hot wax on her body. That sounds like something only you would do.
I see a lie here. Or, I don't see a lie. I know there's a lie, but...
The art research lab is not where Angie was killed. She was killed in the empty room instead!
She left her lab on her own?
But why would she go into an empty room? There shouldn't have been anything in there.
Except for candles.
I agree.
Man,
That's it. Angie went to that room to get a candle.
now that I know that attempting to lie lowers your health, now I just feel so hesitant to try and do that again. And that stinks because that... Oh man, I don't know how to think about that now.
Yeah, for kinky wax play.
You're a real piece of work, aren't you, Miyu? Okay, let's move on.
No. Angie was gonna use it for the ritual. According to the Necronomicon, to resurrect the dead.
Yep, burn it. Burn it to ash.
Then, did she seek out a candle so she could burn the book?
That's right. There's nothing to start a fire with in Angie's lab. So she went to go get a candle from one of the empty rooms.
And that's when the culprit attacked her.
That's why there was dried blood underfloor.
How did the blood get under the floor?
Which means Angie was attacked in the same room the seance was held. Bravo, Himiko. Well done for choosing that room for the seance. If we hadn't done the seance in that room, then Tenko's murder would have been in another room. If that happened, no one would have discovered Angie's blood stain under the floorboards.
Wow.
That's right. Shuichi and I only checked under the floorboards where Tenko died.
Yep, it's all thanks to Himiko for choosing the same room as Angie. This must be a Tua's will. Or maybe the power of magic.
It's neither. I just picked one.
Hold on. You're all acting as though you've proven that as fact already. You claim Angie was murdered in the empty room, and then moved to the lab? Then how do you explain the large amount of blood in the lab? It may be possible to carry a body, but blood cannot be moved.
I think she was still alive after the attack in the empty room. She was killed after she was carried to her lab.
A forehead injury?
This is it!
Yeah.
The fatal wound was a cut to the back of her neck from the katana. But she also showed signs of blunt force trauma, and I think I know why. After Angie was knocked unconscious in the empty room, she was killed in her lab.
I see. So that puddle of blood is from the killing blow. Ha! It's all clear now. Angie was attacked in the empty room, carried to her lab, and it was there that the culprit finished her off.
All clear. This is all clear. What are you all talking about? All clear? What is all clear? What are you? All clear?
Oh, did Kyo actually... What if he was... When did he prepare those rooms? If he was preparing those rooms, and then Angie just walked in...
What are you all... You what? What I will not fear. I will not back down.
Whoa.
Sweet Korekio, calm yourself.
He did mention a sister a long while back.
Their words are all hollow. There is no meaning to any of them.
Is everyone else saying this, or what?
You must teach these ignorant children a lesson.
Yes, you're right. Okay, I'll teach them.
What the hell are you mumbling about? You're giving me the goddamn willies!
Not yet. Nothing is clear at all. It's full of doubts, of mysteries, of a dense, impenetrable fog! Nothing is clear at all!
Okay.
Angie was attacked in the empty room first. And then carried into the research lab? Impossible! Impossible! That's nothing but a delusion! You intend to poison our minds with your delusions?
It's no delusion. Angie's 2 external wounds tell the story. After she was struck in the empty room, she was carried to the art research lab and then killed.
You say the culprit carried Angie's body? And not a single drop of blood fell? The hallway and empty room had no bloodstains.
Nope.
Oh no! You say the culprit carried Angie's body, and not a single drop of blood fell? The hallway and empty room had no bloodstains. Even if you wiped them down later, there'd still be traces of evidence left behind. But there was no evidence anywhere, was there, Shuichi? You say the culprit carried Angie's body, and not a single drop of blood fell? The hallway and empty room had no bloodstains. Even if you wiped them down later, there'd still be traces of evidence left behind. But there was no evidence anywhere, was there, Shuichi?
I'll cut through your words.
Now we know why this tape was there.
There was evidence left at the scene. The bloody tape under Angie's body.
What?
It was wrapped around her head to stop the bleeding while she was being carried.
Bloody tape? Gonta didn't notice at all.
It was under the body. It's most likely evidence the culprit should have gotten rid of. But since it was hidden, the culprit didn't notice and failed to dispose of it.
It must have fallen as the fatal blow was dealt, and ended up under her body.
It must have been Atua who did that for us.
What? Atua? How long are you going to keep that up?
Now we know most of the mystery behind Angie's murder.
I'm convinced there's only one person who could have killed Angie.
It has to be you!
Okay.
It's you, Kyo. You killed Angie.
What the fuck? So it's true!
Well, that was obvious. Such a boring, obvious answer.
You killed both of them. Why did you kill them?
In terms of pure logic, only one victim was necessary to win.
Why? Why you killed them both?
I think one of the murders was an accident.
An accident?
That's right. It wasn't part of the plan.
Huh? Which one?
The first one.
That's it!
Okay, that just seems like a silly question.
Angie's murder was an accident.
What? Tango wasn't accident?
That's right. Kyo originally planned to kill someone with a seesaw trick. But while he was making preparations in the empty room, Angie walked in.
Yep.
So he decided to kill her in order to keep her from talking.
But would she... I mean, that seems... Oh, I guess she saw him in there. And so he didn't want her... Because if he then went and did this whole murder thing, the whole seance murder, she would have been able to testify, oh yeah, Kyo was in there doing stuff. And, you know, so... Okay, that's probably why.
She just happened to walk in on the culprit setting up and was killed.
Then you should have just stopped there. Once he killed Angie, there was no reason for him to kill Tanko.
You only needed to kill one for this game. Killing two is pointless. If you get bonus points for killing more, then sure. Otherwise, it leaves more clues behind.
Why, Kyo? Why you kill two of our friends?
What on earth are you talking about? No, I'm not the culprit. So, why is everyone looking at me like I am? Why? Why are they? Why is it? Calm yourself, Korekio. Yes. You mustn't raise your voice. You mustn't stutter. You mustn't lose composure. You mustn't become flustered. You mustn't waver. Look at their horrid faces. This sorry lot is not worth agonizing over. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
There he goes again. What the hell's wrong with him?
I don't know.
It almost seems like he's talking with someone.
Someone? He's just talking to himself. And why the hell is he wearing lipstick?
No matter how loudly you protest, this is a trivial matter. I will never acknowledge your allegations. Not a single one of them. For you see, there is no evidence that I killed Angie. No, I will not acknowledge it. I will only acknowledge facts, true events. I won't acknowledge fiction, mystery. I won't acknowledge your deductions or guesses. Well said. Good job, Korekio. Yes, thanks.
Creeps me the fuck out!
You're wrong. There is evidence.
What? You do realize bluffs like that won't work, yes?
The weapon that was used to knock Angie unconscious in the empty room. That weapon tells us the whole story, Kyo.
That's not possible. I think you may have misunderstood. Apologize. Come on, apologize. 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 Come on. Apologize. 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 Apologize.
Seriously, what the hell's happening?
Okay. Oh my goodness.
I have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong.
Dang it, I need to get in the groove.
Yes, I'm not the culprit. So I have nothing to confess. I have nothing to admit. You are simply wrong. Yes, I'm not the culprit. So I have nothing to confess. Why must you force your delusions on us? You're lying. That's merely a delusion. Well said, Korekio. To continue this debate is meaningless. Why must you force your delusions on us? I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Korekio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Korekio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 Apologize.
Oh my goodness, what's happening here?
I'm not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! Korekio speaks the truth. Such a sorry lot. Apologize. 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 I told you I am not the culprit. You have no proof that Korekio is the killer. I told you I am not the culprit. So why are you looking at me like that? You're all wrong, not me! You have
did it in
no proof
reverse.
that Korekio is the killer.
It ends here! Kyo hit Angie with the same floorboard used in the seesaw trick.
I see. And how do you know the floorboard was the murder weapon?
There was a small patch of dried blood on the underside of the floorboard.
Angie's blood?
Blood that spattered there when the culprit struck Angie with the board. But that's not the only evidence that she was hit with that floorboard. There's also the bloodstain under the floor to consider. For that to be there, the floorboard must not have been in place at the time of the attack.
Good point. Had the floorboard been in place, her blood wouldn't have splattered beneath it.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Kyo's earlier confession is further evidence that the floorboard was used.
How?
If the weapon used to hit Angie is the floorboard from the seesaw trick,
It means the culprit knew about the seesaw, so the same person killed Tenko and Angie. I believe that while Kyo was setting up the seesaw, he was holding the board when Angie walked in.
And he cold-cocked her with the floorboard.
all you can do now is accept it. You even confessed to Tenko's murder already.
So it's true. This is the truth.
Looks like we're almost at the end. All right, Shuichi, I'll leave the finale to you. Bring down the house.
Ichi, please, put an end to this. For Angie and Tenko's sake. End this class trial.
I understand. I'll go over everything one more time. Kyo, I want you to confess. No, I will force you to confess.
Okay. Here we go. Okay. Very chill music to accompany our puzzle here. Duct tape as a compress, huh? Okay.
This is the truth of the case.
Okay.
Let's look back at the first murder. It was late last night. The culprit was in the empty room on the 4th floor. The culprit was preparing the seance murder they had planned. To use the floorboard as a seesaw, they had to cut the crosspiece supporting it. The plan was to make the same preparations for all 3 empty rooms. This would divert suspicion away from the culprit and whoever picked a room.
I mean, that's pretty clever. At least it seems to me.
To cut the crosspieces, they needed a saw. I imagine they got one from the warehouse. They were planning to cut the crosspieces in all 3 rooms. However, when the culprit was working on the middle room, the unexpected happened. Angie walked into that room and saw the culprit making their preparations. She needed some fire for the ritual and had gone to the room for a candle. At that point, the culprit had not finished the setup and was just cutting crosspieces. Angie might not have concluded that it was tied to some kind of murder plan. But now that Angie had seen it, the culprit couldn't use the seesaw trick. Any other person might have just given up, but not our culprit. The culprit took the floorboard they loosened and struck the unsuspecting Angie in the head. The culprit did not want to give up on their plan and had to improvise. They wrapped duct tape around Angie's injury to stop the bleeding. Then they picked up her unconscious body and carried her to a research lab. While she was unconscious, the culprit hurried to tie up this loose end. But because they were in a hurry, they made a crucial oversight. They didn't notice the duct tape had peeled off. And
Yeah, I
was under
gotta
Angie's body.
say, in retrospect, my biggest. Well, I'll save it for the end. Never
Without
mind.
that evidence, we may never have figured out the culprit's trick. Carrying the supplies they needed, the culprit returned to the ultimate art lab. Locked the front door from inside. And took out the katana they brought from their own lab. They then stabbed Angie in the back of the neck, finally killing her. Then, to further confuse us, the culprit attempted to make a locked room mystery. First, they used rope from the warehouse and hung 4 effigies upside down. There were 2 reasons for this: to overwhelm the room with an occult atmosphere, and the other was the key to locking the room. The culprit stuck the katana into Kaede's effigy near the rear entrance. And spun the effigy around to twist up the rope. After enough turns, the culprit let go and headed for the rear door. Once released, the effigy began spinning, and the gold leaf katana with it. The handle of the katana then hit the sliding lock, locking the door.
How many times do you think it took him before he was able to get that right?
A difficult trick, but remember that the lock was so loose it moved at the slightest touch. The culprit also would have had the opportunity to attempt it many times.
Yeah.
Once complete, the door was locked, but the duct tape was left behind. Perhaps the culprit noticed it, but by that point, it was too late. The room was sealed. There was no way for them to get back inside. Then, this morning, we opened up the room and discovered Angie's body. But the culprit wasn't finished. They wanted one more murder. To do that, they manipulated us into performing this seance. Of the 3 empty rooms, the middle one was chosen for the seance. I was invited by Kokichi to take Kibo's place in the seance. Tenko volunteered to be the medium, but she never imagined it would get her killed. To perform the seance, the culprit claimed they needed something for Tenko. A small stone that Himiko had brought from the courtyard. Tenko, at the culprit's request, bowed her head until it was touching the stone. That position was instrumental in making sure the murder went as planned. Next, Kokichi and I placed the iron cage over Tenko, in the middle of the magic circle. The culprit then volunteered to drape the white cloth over the iron cage. We didn't realize it at the time, but that was a deliberate decision by the culprit. They needed to set up the murder weapon that was used to kill Tenko. While they were covering the cage with a cloth, they secretly placed the sickle. Finally, 4 of us placed the wooden statue on top of the cage. The culprit used the weight of the statue to keep the murder weapon in place. After the preparations were complete, we began the seance. In complete darkness, we each stood in one corner and sang the Caged Child song. When the song finished, the soul of the dead was supposed to enter the medium, but our culprit had another plan: to commit a murder in the darkness. Right after we started singing, the culprit began making their way toward Tenko. It would have been quite difficult to do in total darkness, but our culprit had a guide. They used the lines of the magic circle drawn with salt. The culprit felt for the salt and used it to guide them along. And when the culprit reached the center of the circle, they found the floorboard that had its crosspiece cut off the night before. Then lifted up their foot and stomped down hard on the floorboard. The floorboard lifted up like a seesaw and pushed Tenko's body up toward the ceiling of the cage. Tenko was stabbed in the back of the neck by the sickle on the top of the cage. She was killed right before our eyes, and we didn't even see it. After committing the crime, the culprit followed the salt back to their corner.
I mean, I kind of thought about this before, but from this illustration too, I'd be worried if I were the culprit of like falling through that. or, you know, and getting stuck in the dark. Like, I feel it wouldn't take much to slip and lose your footing on this seesaw thing, you know?
Finished the ritual and had us light the candles. We followed the culprit's directions and removed the equipment used for the seance. And discovered Tenko's body. And while we were all focused on the body, the culprit picked up the sickle and dropped it under the floor through the hole in the corner of the room. Ironically, the final step of the murder was unwittingly carried out by us. The culprit had planned the murder so that we would unintentionally destroy some evidence. That evidence was the magic circle that the culprit used to navigate in the dark. However, the culprit didn't know that Kibo had taken a picture. He really saved us. Without that, we wouldn't know what changes were made to the circle. But now we know for certain, and we know the culprit drew the magic circle. Korekio Shinguchi, the ultimate anthropologist. You're the culprit behind these murders. That's where my detective work leads us. It all fits.
Okay. Well, that's that. Okay, I do want to say one thing. I think I should have realized this, and if I had realized this, I think this would have gone a lot more smoothly. Right when Kokichi had his old bloody scene and talked about how there was a similar floorboard in the other room, that should have really tipped me off about a lot of this. So I feel kind of silly. And I had 2 restarts, so I don't know how to... I mean, on this... I will say, I feel like the culprit's a bit easy on this one. The Kyo's reactions kind of really sealed it more than anything else. So, in that sense, I feel like this has been one of the easier trials so far. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna call it here. I'm very tired, and you know, I kind of want to be, you know, now that I don't have to worry about the trial itself and having, you know, worrying about all those puzzles, I feel like I can relax now. And then, so next time I record, I'll be able to be nice and fresh and be able to think things through more clearly. And of course, next time I'll give my thoughts on the trial and this whole chapter in general, and then we'll move on and see how it ends. Yeah, I think that'll do. Okay. I've been The Worm. This has been Danganronpa V3. I hope you're all doing all right, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.